The phone rings sharply, slicing through the quiet of Fanjia's apartment like a blade. And just like that, You Shulang is pulled out of his thoughts. He takes one final sip of broth, switches off the stove, and steps out of the kitchen, only to see the company number flashing across his screen. The moment his eyes land on that familiar string of digits, his brows tense with a faint but unmistakable sense of dread. He answers, calm as always, but the voice on the other end practically trembles. Ruixiang Pharmacy has done it again. This time, they pulled every near-expiry product from Bohai's shelves, including ones with almost half a year left. A blatant move. A provocation. A punishment. And worst of all, the caller admits what everyone already suspects. Director Yu, they said to ask you personally. They said you're the reason. That one sentence hits like a thrown stone, because You Shulang was never meant to deal with this. Administration was his realm, clean, precise, orderly. But ever since the day he didn't intervene in the parking lot fight, the consequences have crawled into every corner of his job. Subei Ocean, the crowned little prince of Ruixiang Pharmaceutical, has a talent for holding grudges and even greater talent for punching down. Unable to take revenge on Fan Zhao, he's turned You Shulang into his personal venting target. Every negotiation blocked, every request stonewalled, every salesperson chased out with the same words. Go back and ask Director Yu. It's childish, pathetic, and yet extremely effective. When the call ends, You Shulang exhales through his nose, already planning his next steps. He promises to visit the factory himself. No delays, no excuses. But as he checks the time, another thought slips in. Fan Zhao should be back soon. Half an hour maybe. Lately, he's been drowning in overtime, crushed between family politics and corporate audits he never asked for. The eldest fan is strict. The second fan is useless. And somehow, Fan Zhao is the one carrying all the exhaustion. Night after night, he crosses half the city just to fall asleep beside You Shulang. And night after night, he crawls into bed near dawn, wraps his arms around him, and kisses him with a kind of desperation that makes Shulang's chest ache. That's why today, Shulang came to his place, saving him time, saving him energy, saving him in all the quiet ways he never talks about. But just as he takes off his apron, his phone pings. New email. The file arrives corrupted. He frowns. He needs a different device. And then comes the moment, small, innocent, harmless on the surface, where everything begins to slip off its axis. He remembers Fan Zhao's laptop. He hesitates. He always respects boundaries. Always asks permission. But tonight, caught between urgency and love, he makes an exception. Just this once, he calls Fan Zhao. No answer. Only the sweet, sticky melody of a Thai love song flowing through the quiet apartment. So he walks to the bedroom, turns on the laptop, and everything freezes. The screen lights up, and what he sees destroys every last trace of calm left in him. When the fingerprint lock clicks and Fan Zhao steps through the door, he senses it instantly. The shift in the air, the darkness in the room, the tension humming like a live wire. He loosens his tie, steps toward the bedroom, and calls softly, Shulang, I'm back. But the figure standing by the window is rigid, upright, sharp as a blade. And when Shulang turns around, eyes calm on the surface but storming underneath, his voice cuts straight through the space between them. Fan Zhao, you'd better not touch me right now. The moment hangs suspended. Fan Zhao stops instantly, every instinct telling him danger is close, very close. When he asks what's wrong, pretending innocence, Shulang doesn't let him hide. Not tonight. Not with this. You saw the video? Fan Zhao finally admits, the dashcam recording. The one he found by accident. The one he kept watching whenever he missed him. He tries to coax. He tries to charm. He tries to slither out of responsibility with sweetness and surrender. But this time, nothing works. Shulang pushes him away, harder than he ever has. He demands details, timeline, truth. And when Fan Zhao tries to lie, tries to blur the past, Shulang unleashes the real evidence. Playback history, he says coldly. You opened that video 2 hours after it was recorded. That blows everything open. Fan Zhao's mask slips, but only for a second. Then he switches strategies, leaning into him, voice low and trembling with fake vulnerability, painting himself as tortured, helpless, overcome with desire from the moment he saw that video. He talks about pain, shame, guilt, secret obsession. He talks about falling in love far too early, long before it made sense. He weaponizes intimacy like a knife, carving out sympathy where he needs it. He weaponizes intimacy like a knife, carving out sympathy where he needs it. And Shulang, already furious, already hurt, feels the cracks forming. Because Fan Zhao's words are dangerous, seductive, manipulative, and far too easy to believe. But one question cuts through everything. Are mine the only recordings you've watched? Fan Zhao answers instantly. Only yours. Can I trust you? I'm not lying. Not about this. But something in the phrasing, this matter, snags, hooks, pulls. And Shulang realizes too late that he's losing his grip. Fan Zhao kisses him before he can think further. Desperate to derail the conversation, to turn anger into heat, to drag them both into a place where reason can't reach. But tonight, You Shulang is not letting anything slide. He pulls back and says the line that flips the entire room upside down. Then record one for me too. The silence that follows is electrifying. Fan Zhao, dressed in a suit, sits on the bed with his shirt slightly undone. The camera is set on a stand. The air is thick enough to choke on. And You Shulang sits on the sofa, one leg crossed over the other, cigarette between his lips, watching him with cold, controlled detachment that hides a wildfire beneath. Begin.
Fan Zhao obeys, slowly, obediently, seductively, every move calculated to regain control to
turn the punishment into a performance. But then Shulang twists the knife again. Bite down on your shirt. If it slips, we start over. Fan Zhao does it, and before the final zipper slides down, Shulang quietly stops the recording, because he doesn't need the video. He only needs Fan Zhao undone. And as Fan Zhao touches himself through his clothes, as his breath grows uneven, as his eyes stay locked on the man he adores and fears, You Shulang finally stands, puts out the cigarette, walks to the bed, and says the line that seals their fate for the rest of the episode. Fan Zhao, as long as you behave, from now on all my dreams will only be of you. He kisses him, slow, deep, consuming, and Fan Zhao's expression floods with relief, hunger, and quiet triumph. He got what he wanted, but so did Shulang. By the time the lights fade and the scene ends, the recording is off. The tension is unresolved, and their relationship has shifted into a darker, more dangerous territory. Episode 7 is going to be chaos, jealousy, secrets, obsession, manipulation, and a love so intense it burns both of them alive. And this spoiler? This is only the beginning. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want episode 8 spoilers the moment they leak, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss a single update.